10 minutes exactly, if I can nail it right at 2:30. Your Cavs over the Grizzlies last night, a good road win. Grizzlies are not a great team this season, but listen, any given night, man, 108-101 was the final. Cavs have a, what's the stretch? Cavs have won a bunch in a row, right?
They've won 4 in a row, but they're like I think they've won 13 of their last 14
there
or
you
14
go.
of their last 15, something like that.
I couldn't remember the last one they lost.
The last one they lost was
to the Bucks.
The Bucks game a couple last week.
That first
on
of
Wednesday,
two.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, there you go. Bucks are a really good team.
But then they had that day off. They recollected. They saw some sights in Milwaukee. It inspired them, and they said, we're not going to lose to the Bucks again.
There you go. Watch some Laverne and Shirley reruns. Went to the Ed Gein Museum. We were watching a documentary on Ed Gein, and I'm like, you know who Ed Gein is?
I don't.
Okay, Ed Gein is this guy in the 50s who basically, I think he actually only killed a couple of people, but he was exhuming bodies, people who had just died. A small town in Wisconsin called Plainfield, literally 900 people in this town. And Ed Gein is the guy that every subsequent crazy, killer archetype was based on. So like Buffalo Bill and Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
And
I remember the name from that show on Netflix, the Mindhunter show.
Yeah, Robert Bloch wrote a novel called Psycho that was based on Ed Gein, and then Alfred Hitchcock turned that into the film.
Mhm.
And but this was the guy who was like, dressing people like deer and cutting them open, and then he's just this
cool guy,
this dim small town guy. I mean, he died in a mental hospital, so it wasn't
cool
even
that they gave him a museum.
Well, I'm kidding. I mean, it's not there. But, I mean,
Okay.
somebody burned his house down because the people in the town were worried that people were going to try to turn it into a museum. Like, his gravestone had been stolen, by people who are into that stuff. It turns up in Seattle, and they had to get it back to town. Anyway, we were just clicking around the other night, and there's this brief documentary on Ed Gein on MGM+, which used to be the Epix channel. And so we're like, oh, okay, it seems like they're kind of getting smart these days where some of these documentaries, they've pared them down to 3 parts. You can handle 3 hours, right? I don't need a 10-parter that goes nowhere. But, and the crux of this particular documentary was that they had like the first recorded interviews with Ed Gein or something. Like I said, the guy's really dim. He's pretending he can't remember anything, whatever. But this is a guy that was like making lampshades out of skin and, and then they consult with a variety of psychologists, except they kept re-showing and resetting the same clips, and halfway through we're like, Jesus Christ, are they going to do anything new in this thing, or But how the hell did they get on Ed Gein? Oh, because the Cavaliers spent a day in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in between those 2 Bucks games. But in Memphis, they can't hang around there. They take the win and they move on. They're going to play the Spurs in San Antonio tomorrow night. That's an 8:30 tip. And then back here at home on Monday to play the Sacramento Kings, Tristan Thompson's old team. But he won't see any action because he's sitting out that suspension for the PEDs.
Yeah.
So, Cavs basketball, your FM home, 100.7 WMMS, and on the iHeartRadio app. Donovan Mitchell, an all-star, named to the Eastern Conference All-Star team. So that's nice.
That is
Only
nice.
player from the Cavs named to the All-Star team. No Karis LeVert. No Jarrett Allen.
Jarrett Allen's the only other one that I think is deserving, and I think if there is someone that gets injured, he will be a replacement player.
No, neither of the Mobleys. You'll find nary a Mobley in the All-Star game.
Evan missed a lot of games, so that's why he wasn't really under consideration. Same with Darius Garland. And then Isaiah Mobley has played in like 3 games, so, not quite all-star status.
And I'll tell you why. Because the NBA takes their cues from the specialists in this area. You'll recall the lyrics of the song. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on. Don't sit on the sidelines. Don't be on injured reserve. You got to get your game on to be an all-star. And I'm pretty sure that's how they do it.
Nailed it.
This is Donovan Mitchell's 5th straight all-star appearance. The game is coming up February 18th in Indianapolis, Indiana. It will be, as I check my notes, the most interesting thing to ever happen in Indianapolis, Indiana. The 73rd NBA All-Star Game. Of course, it was just a couple of years ago that it was here in Cleveland.
That was a very fun weekend.
That was like our first live show back after the pandemic.
Finally, you're coming around.
Was an All-Star weekend. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, the Clippers, a whole bunch of other guys. Anthony Davis, Devin Booker, and but one from the Cavs. It's better than having zero from the Cavs.
Correct.
So congratulations to Donovan Mitchell for getting on there. Oh, sorry, I'm going to burp. Come on. I'm trying to get it out. Just so I can be like a cool guy.
Bill, burp him.
Huh?
I'm not going to touch.
I'm not an infant. I mean,
But even if he's not a good burper.
No, that's the thing.
He's a bad burper.
Oh. Yeah, Ed Gein also the inspiration for Leatherface and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and this guy had like skulls that he was drinking soup out of and things like that.
Oh, soup skulls.
Soup skull. Yeah, I mean, now you could go to Pier 1 and get him.
Yeah.
I mean, but back then in the 50s, it was like a big deal. But I mean, he was. They determined this is the 50s, and he wasn't running around with a chainsaw. He was like, well, I don't know. I don't remember what happened. I was in the house, and then I just killed her. One of those things. So they put him in a mental institution, and he ended up dying there in the early 80s of lung cancer or something. But for a culture like ours that really has a bloodlust for retribution, that was a swing and a miss with Ed Gein. As influential as he was in like the horror and true crime genre, I guess, it wasn't like they fried him in the electric chair or anything like that. They would these recordings that were throughout this documentary. And again, it's not the first of its kind, but we were clicking around and we saw it. And some of the recordings, are the police at the time who are discussing what they found in the house. And one of them was, we found a vulva in a box. And so when you talk about inspiration,
usually find
Timberlake and Andy Samberg, I don't know. Did they flip the script on vulva in a box?
You usually find the vulva of a box.
You sure do. You sure do.
BillSquire.com, Willoughby, Lorraine.
Yeah, what are the upcoming gigs?
Willoughby and Lorraine, that's not till March. Youngstown, end of February, the 24th of February. And then the one that I'm doing Saturday is already sold out. So that's at Imposters Theater. So
I would have to think that a modern-day analog to Ed Gein, if there was somebody who was like, hey, listen, because on the one hand, this is a town of 900 people, but I just couldn't believe that nobody in town realized there were a bunch of empty graves. Like, going to visit your aunt or something, and you go, gee, why are there so many holes in the ground here? But I guess they weren't really paying attention to it, or maybe I missed something. But you would think that in the modern day, somebody who was doing the same kinds of things might get a little bit more creative with the skin and the furniture, There were all the jokes. I was a kid when he was still in the mental institution. I was like in the 6th or 7th grade, and so you'd hear these jokes when his name would come back around and when he died or whatever. Jokes like he had to keep his house really warm so the furniture didn't get goosebumps. Things like that.
Gross.
You'd have to think that if somebody was doing that these days, you remember Buffalo Bill and Silence of the Lambs, Parma Heights' own Ted Levine playing him, was trying to zip up that skin suit and whatever. He got it in the sewing machine. But today, you could take a guy's wiener and make like an umbrella handle out of it or something. That's a free idea from me to you. Just fashion takes many, many forms. And that's only one of them.
Now, would you want like a regular like straight wiener, or would you want it to have like a
like
little,
a Peyronie's?
Yeah, Peyronie's,
yeah.
so you could hang it up on a hook when you're not using it.
I don't know. I mean, because if you put it in one of those containers, you go into a store sometimes, if they're really nice, they'll have the container for wet umbrellas. You put it in there. You don't need a hook for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
and it should
choice,
stand out. They'd be like, which one is yours? Oh, it's the black wiener one.
It's that one, yes. Okay, I got money for you, so let me give this away. It's $1,000, courtesy of the Buzzard Bookie. About 30 past every hour, you get one of these words. So don't treat it like it's just background noise, because somebody's got to win this money every single time, and I hope that it's you. So good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard Bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Credit. That's credit. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
I've got Kids Corner here for you.
It ain't easy being a kid. Now look at what you gone done did. Whoa, it's time for Kids Corner. Kids Corner!
Did you see the TikTok of the little girl who apparently has been cursing a lot in school? And so the mom talked to the teacher, and they came up with a plan to let the little girl get her yayas out in the bathroom. You can go in and cuss all you want in the bathroom, but we're not going to let you do it around the other kids. This is a little kid.
And she's got a potty mouth.
And she's got a potty mouth.
Literally.
So, have you seen this? Did you watch this video?
I have not seen
I
this.
have not either.
But I like a kid swearing.
Pennsylvania daycare teacher allowed one of her students to just unleash her potty mouth in the bathroom. I'll play it for her. I had to edit it heavily, of course, because it's a little girl. And obviously, she knows she's saying things she shouldn't say, because even in the confines of her being alone in the bathroom, she's whispering. But F-bombs and, And, boy, what must life be like at home? But I guess the teacher had talked to the mom and said, well, let's figure something out here. Tina Midkiff was it's a little weird that I guess she filmed it. This is like a TikTok video, but she says, mom approved post.
Oh, be careful. All right, now listen. Since we've had some issues with cussing,
Okay.
we are only going to cuss in the bathroom, okay? We are not cussing anywhere but in the bathroom. And we
Okay.
are not going to give the finger anywhere but in the bathroom, because we can't teach our little friends that we're doing this.
Okay.
Okay? So mommy said it's okay for you to do this in the bathroom. Okay? That way you don't get in any more trouble and we can move forward. Got it?
Yeah.
Only in the bathroom.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, this is kind of sad.
Like, bitch. You know you're sexy, bitch. There's no other sexier. Come on, bitch.
All right. Are you about finished?
No.
Hurry up.
Bitch. Bitch. I always say bitch in the bathroom. Bitch.
She's possessed.
Zay, are you done?
Yeah?
All right. Did you get it out of your system? Okay, look at Messina. We're not going to do that anymore, okay? Okay.
It's sad, isn't it?
It's really sad. I
'Cause
was
she
always saying
hears
it'd be
that
funny.
at home.
Yeah, that is that's not her saying funny things. That's her repeating a lot of things that she's heard at home that are
So
not
that's why
great.
the whole situation is so weird to me, because the teacher's got to be like, hey, look, your little girl is flipping people off in class and using the F word and whatever.
Mhm.
And so the mom goes, well, look, can she do it in the bathroom? I don't know what the conversation was. And again, this is all put on TikTok and, oh, it's so cute and ha, 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 and this little girl. But she's clearly just repeating things she's heard at home.
Right.
A lot. She's like, bitch, bitch, bitch. She throws sexy bitch in there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, this feels darker than it's supposed to feel.
Yeah, it's not.
Is this a little kid? 11.3 million views. Obviously, because, the headline on it, you go, little kid's cussing. It's hilarious. What's the matter with that? But it's all F-bombs and bitch, bitch, bitch. So she's like, yeah, so she's repeating what she hears at home. She's repeating mom and dad screaming at each other, which makes me wonder why the mom was like, yeah, sure.
She got bigger problems.
That's a creative way to go about this.
It was. I will say though.
Are you finished? No.
No.
No, I got a few more to get out of me.
I'm not defending this by any means, but it was a treat. It was like a gift when when my mom allowed me to curse to my brother.
How old were you?
I don't know, between maybe 7 and 12.
Yeah, this girl's probably 4.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like for certain things, like my brother, if he was over a friend's house and he was supposed to be home, she's like, call the friend and tell your brother he's supposed to come home. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, tell him to get his ass home. And I'm like, can I say the ass part? She's like, yes, you can say the ass part. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, Ryan, Mom says, get your ass home now. And he's like, I'm telling Mom you said that. I was like, she said I could say it. MFer. She's like, I ain't tell you.
I didn't say you could say that. See, you got greedy.
I did, but it was exciting. I was like, I can say ass?
Man, shut your ass up.
It was so exciting. So when kids know they're not allowed to say something, they're enticed by it. So, and even if they were arguing in another room or outside the house, kids are nosy and they are always dipping their heads in places
And
they
that's
shouldn't be.
and that's absolutely true if it was a situation where this teacher shut the door and then the girl like yelled it out once or twice.
Right.
But she's the TikTok is her in the mirror, so the teacher leaves and keeps the phone in there to film it. And the comments on it, because I think people are like, oh, this is kind of funny because nobody really wants to pay attention to what's going on here.
No, I get
people are like 15 years from now, she's still going to be doing this at the bathroom at work, which is funny. And other women are like, I work in a daycare and there's that's me in the bathroom, or sometimes there's kids that, salty language. But, people are like, oh, it's so cute. She's whispering. But it sounds to me like she's just repeating what she hears at home. And
Yeah,
it's
that's
a lot of bitch.
Yeah.
And, so halfway through, I was like, oh, this is kind of really sad.
Yeah, I'm not.
People are like, she's a great kid. She's not going to take any crap from anyone.
Has Nora slipped out a couple curse words that she heard?
No, she likes to say hello to my ass.
Well, but that was just because
That was a younger-
she was
yeah.
little and we started watching The Simpsons. And she's thrown a couple of things out, I guess.
Say hello to my ass. Why were you talking about beer holes and penises on the radio, Daddy?
So inquisitive.
Yeah, very inquisitive.
Why'd you say yabos?
I was talking about something. What did you hear?
Yabos.
I think that was Uncle Bill talking about yabos on the air one day.
Perhaps, yeah. I've
But
been
no,
known
she-
to do such.
She is
From what I hear at home, I repeat it here.
Right. No, she'll say like she hasn't asked us to say anything. She'll and again we don't. It's not really a cursey house. It's just not how we talk. But once in a while, Gwen and I don't really edit ourselves around her that much. We'll throw something out and she'll go language or whatever, and that's what kids do, right? But no, she's not. She doesn't seem to be champing at the bit to start dropping whatever. She knows what the words are because, she'll go, oh,
Well, she's a smart kid. and-
somebody
yeah.
said something on the
Yeah.
playground. I go, what? And she'll mouth the word to me. I go, okay. She knows. She knows what they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She understands the weight of the words.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. I mean, I remember the very first time I saw the F word. It was on graffiti in a bathroom, and I was with my dad. And I go, "What's that?" My dad was like, "I go, no."
I remember the first time I said
He's like, he's like, that's not. It's a grown-up word, and it's not a public word. He explained what was going on, but he's like, that's not a public word. That's like,
I dropped an S-bomb when I was probably 4 or 5. It was before I was in school, and I didn't know what it meant, but I heard one of the neighborhood kids say it when we were moving from Berea to Strongsville, and I thought it sounded cool, and I thought he was a cool kid, so I said it, and my mom goes, "What'd you say?" And I said it again, and she's like, "Hey, we don't use that word," and I was like, "Okay." And I remember doing a similar thing, like learning. I remember learning all the swear words when I moved to that neighborhood in Strongsville, and then I remember one day walking home from school with my friend, and we're like, you know what? They're just words. We can say them.
right?
And so we're like yelling swear words as we walk home from school. And then when I got home, one of the neighbors had called my mom, and we got ratted out.
You were yelling them as you walked down the street.
We're like, we can say it. We're gonna say butt and piss and all this stuff.
Butt and piss.
Kids
I mean,
try
they
to
are
be-
words,
Yeah.
but I mean, you also, for me, it's less about the words and more about teaching your kid what is and isn't appropriate in mixed company.
Right,
you
and
know?
that's yeah.
So there's a lot of people that like let their kids say whatever they want at home. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, you work your house the way you want to work your house, as long as they understand, out there, it's a different situation.
Well, that's like when we go to my parents' house, I have to, because they're like, I'm pretty good at not swearing around them, but I still have to catch myself sometimes. But my kids are, in their 20s now, and my oldest especially is real bad about her language, and she talks, and I'm like, hey, can you calm down a little bit around my parents?
You're not around your friends.
They're old Mormons. They're not used to hearing people talk this way. You gotta dial it back. And she's like,
Grandma and
I know,
Grandpa are more butt and piss people.
Yes.
Okay? They're not.
They're more butt and pee. I don't know if they're dropping piss all that much.
Hey, Corey.
Hey.
What's up?
Yeah, hey, I just wanted to make a comment on the kid cussing at school. I had a buddy that had a family of 7 kids total. And I found it was shocking to me. They constantly cussed around their kids. I mean, F-bombs, everything. And the only thing I ever found, I guess more surprising, or they wouldn't cuss, but they would, flick people off. But they would never, they never cussed around anybody. Never heard them cuss. And now the oldest are 21 and 18. And I mean, all the kids are just great.
They got their fill when they were younger.
Had no effect on them whatsoever. I was so shocked, but it's, who knows if that came
some people rebel against their parents no matter what that means.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, my parents dropped F-bombs all the time. I'm going the other way.
Right.
That's how I grew up, and it's, so.
There's a lot of people that have alcoholic parents or like an alcoholic parent, and they go, oh, I'm never touching that stuff, and they'll never even give it a shot. Like, they'll never even try it because of what they saw it do to their parents. Also, I got some breaking news.
I got messages here all the time of people cursing.
Nobody gives a hell.
That's right. Nobody gives a hell.
Nobody gives a hell.
Hold on. Breaking news is what you said?
Alan Cox Show! Exclusive news update!
Carl Weathers has passed away at the age of 76.
No. He's not going to in the Mandalorian movie. They didn't start shooting that.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Apollo Creed and what was his name in Happy Madison? Chubbs?
Chubbs, yeah.
Oh, Carl
And he
Weathers.
was in Predator. And just
which reminds me.
And Carl Weathers playing Carl Weathers in Arrested Development.
Yes. Oh, man. Predator, all those. Holy
Get
cow.
some vegetables. You got a stew going.
Which reminds me, I've got Billy D. Williams on the show in a couple of weeks.
Oh, that's nice.
Very excited about that.